Today we're going to hop straight back into the usual uploads and have a look at my Vanguard portfolio. Now, for those of you who've been keeping a close eye on the markets, you'll know that the last 3 or 4 weeks have actually been really positive for the global stock market, despite interest rates rising and the rate of inflation still a lot higher than the global target. This again does just drive home the importance of time in the market is more important than timing the market. If you were looking at kind of the stock market from purely a fundamental level in terms of the economic outlook, people may be tempted to keep money on the sidelines rather than investing into their portfolio. But obviously the rise in the market shows that that is not the best thing to be doing. Over the last month alone, the S&P 500 is up just under 5% at 4.83% increase during that time. And if we go back over the last 6 months, you'll be able to see we're up almost 10%. And when you consider the issues that we're facing at the moment, that really is astonishing. And when you think about my own personal portfolio, which is essentially mimicking the VWRL, if we have a look at how that has increased, you can see the VWRL has pretty much matched the S&P 500, with an increase of 4.91% during that same 1 month period. And if you look at over the last 6 months, you can see again we're up around 5.5%. So what does that all mean for my own personal portfolio? It's been exactly 4 weeks now since we last checked in, and at that point my portfolio is valued at £16,009. This was the first time it had ever exceeded £16,000. And it was also the video that marked 4 years of investing through Vanguard. Remember, all of this is just by doing consistent small investments every single month, investing between £50 and around £400 to £500, dependent on income and kind of the expenditure that I'm expecting to make during that month from my lifestyle. The key here is to pay yourself first. I always make sure that I pay myself a certain amount when I get paid that I can put straight into my investments. And this means that I stay consistent, and it means that no matter what's coming that month, I've always put some money aside so that I can continue to grow my investments. And throughout life, as you start to earn more or make additional income streams, you can slowly increase that base amount that you invest every single month. And then of course, anything on top of that is supplementary. And that is essentially how I've got to the point that I'm at now. So with that said, let's hop straight into my Vanguard portfolio and see what's going on. My portfolio then is currently valued at £16,686.24. So it's actually increased by over £675 during that time. And yes, some of it will have come from my monthly investments, but a lot of it has come from the market increase. My current personal rate of return sits at 32.80%. And the key thing here to remember is that that is time-weighted return. It is not cash-on-cash return. Each penny or each pound that I put into my portfolio counts differently towards this overall personal rate of return. I'm fully aware that my actual rate of return is a lot lower than this, as we'll see in a few months' time when I look at my overall portfolio, utilising the spreadsheet that I put together, should link up here somewhere where I talk about that in more detail. My largest investment still is, and will always be for that matter, in the S&P 500, which is currently valued at £8,297.28, making up almost half of my portfolio, which funnily enough is my target allowance. We're now 2 months into the ISA year, and I've currently used £830 of my ISA allowance, of course hoping to use around £5,000 within this ISA year. Let's bring ourselves through then to the performance tab, and here we'll be able to see since inception the overall kind of development, I guess, of my portfolio. Since opening this account back in May of 2019, I've invested £14,620. And again, this is the very first month that I can report a total investment return to me of over £2,000. And we're currently sat on a return on investment of £2,066.24. Now that is made up of capital gains, dividend income, as well as a little bit of interest return. But again, another small milestone to keep me going, keep me motivated, and something to push on for now to reach 2,500 on return. Now obviously this is something that I can't really impact. The only way I can impact this is by investing more cash so it increases more quickly. If we look at the graph down the bottom, we'll be able to see that since the dip or the low bottom here at the 16th of March, we've just climbed out really, and we've really gone from strength to strength. We'll hop through to the calculations tab here, and again it breaks it down into a lot of detail. Again, for those of you who watch my videos fairly regularly, this will be fairly commonplace to you. But you can see currently of my invested cash, I've got a return, a capital gain return of £1,227.06. The investment sold is from when I sold the Life Strategy 100, and that's returned to me around £341. Gross interest, we're up at £2.15 now, and dividends, massive return here on dividends of £540.16. And of course, in June, we're expecting more dividends to be announced and then paid out through my Vanguard investments. Now, that's usually paid slightly late. For those of you who are also Vanguard investors, you'll know that they're becoming a little bit slow at actually distributing their dividends. So we're expecting that to be delivered sometime in early July. So check out the next update when we'll see exactly what dividends we've been paid. And I'm hoping it's going to be a big one. And the charges, so the fees on this Vanguard account since inception of £44.54, which really can't be grumbled at for a portfolio now of this size. The month-on-month data again breaks down a fairly positive picture. You can see so far in the month of June, granted we're only in the first few days of June at this point, but you can see that my total return so far this month is £352.42. So there is still a lot that can happen. There's still 3 weeks of the month left. Who really knows? But it started off very well indeed. And of course, a nice 14p in income, so interest really. I've not actually made any investments so far this month, but that will of course change throughout the month and towards the end of this month, which altogether adds up to this cumulative return here, which gives my ending balance. Throughout May, I managed to invest £450, and the month before that, £680. So I've actually been quite fortunate in what I've been able to invest over the last few months. But May actually finished down, so we actually lost £68.58 in total. And of course, we actually had to pay fees during that month as well. But if we look right back, obviously now we're on this cumulative return of £2,066. We're now back to kind of where we are right back in December 2021, when my cumulative returns were set on £1,919. So in terms of actual return to me, we're sat in a fairly similar place to where we were around, what's that, about 18 months ago now. But of course, lots has happened between then and now. So if we pull ourselves through now to the investments tab, we can see exactly how each of my investments have performed. So we'll forget about cash and the ones which I've sold out, of course, obviously. We can see here the emerging markets I'm down, and actually at the moment it is the only investment within my entire portfolio of which I am down. So I've invested £2,537.07. I've currently got an unrealised loss of £119. However, if you factor in the dividend income of £90.67, I'm only down £28 in total, or a gross return of negative 2.5%. The developed Asia Pacific ex Japan, I've invested £745. I'm currently up £97.18, or 22.8% in gross return. The developed Europe ex UK, I've invested £1,807. I'm up 15.71%, or £153.34. The FTSE Japan, I've invested £1,263, up 8.43%, or £58.36. And then the two big ones in terms of return, the FTSE 100, I've invested just over £1,710. The dividend income I've received is £162.83, with a total overall gross return of 41.63%. Again, of course, that is time weighted, not cash on cash, meaning that it's returned to me a total of £393. And finally, like I've said, the S&P 500, the largest investment in my overall portfolio, I've invested over £7,350, got a dividend of £152, a return on investment of 45.94%, or an overall cumulative pound return of £1,099.02. So more money really than I ever expected to have when I started that investing 4 years ago. But again, I'm hoping this shows you, if you are new to investing, actually with time, with consistency, and with small increments of income and investment every single month, really anything is possible. We'll finish off then, as always, with a little quick rundown of my overall current weighting. Emerging markets, I'm holding 14.5% of my portfolio. The FTSE 100 around 11.5%. The developed Asia Pacific ex Japan just under 5% with a 5% target. The The FTSE Developed Europe ex UK, 11.5%, targeting 12% there. The FTSE Japan, 7.75%, targeting 8%. And then the S&P 500, 49.73%, and of course I'm targeting 50%. So as I said at the beginning of the video, this just proves the fact that time in the market is better than timing the market. If I had sat with cash on the side, I probably wouldn't manage to have had the portfolio size that I've got at this point in time. I will just again say that none of this is intended to show off how much I've got invested or anything like that. It's merely to track my own progress and show that pretty much anybody can do it, and hopefully it's inspired you a little bit to start opening your own investment account and get going yourself. As I've said, investing is not risk-free, and as soon as you invest cash, you risk the fact that it could go down to zero. And for that reason, you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Equally, you should always be very, very careful when experiencing and moving into leveraged investing. It's not something that I personally do myself, as I see it as far too high risk. And if you do leveraged investing, you can actually lose more than you put in anyway. So it's just opening a whole can of worms, and to me, it's really, really not worth it. But I'm finishing this video. My portfolio is valued at £16,686, doing really quite nicely. If you want to check out how to invest just £100 per month to make over £500,000, check that video out next, just up here. And if you don't fancy that, I'll see you in the next one.